All these are hinted at in the following sentences. Who will ascend the mountain of the Lord? Referring to the ingathering of exiles. Where these initial letters, of course, are initials of Mashiach ben Yosef. Who will stand up in the place of his sanctuary? Referring to the building. Initial letters are initials of Mashiach ben Yosef again. Goes on to state that wherever the word to stand up is mentioned, it refers to the line of Mashiach ben Yosef, as in the phrase, my sheaf rose. He will receive a blessing from the Lord. It refers to something that carries with it a blessing, such as planting the initial letters of the initials of Mashiach ben Yosef, the in reverse order, and in the sentences, return to your cities, build Jerusalem. It is time to favor her. To favor refers to planting, as it states he will favor its dirt. I think so. The dates that have been growing in Israeli soil taste very good, and I finally get to eat some of the fruit that's grown out of that land, because you guys are now exporting that out. So that's a treat, and I can read the residents of that land just from eating the fruit that was grown there from. I remember sitting with someone else who has visited Israel. She was eating them with me, and we were both like tasting the resonance and energetics of that land by eating its fruit here in New York City, connecting with it. Unbelievable. Each one of them accords with the gematria of testimony in Yosef. That refers to Mashiach ben Yosef. Also, these three tasks were given the same to Cyrus, as it states, I am the Lord, who confirms the word of his servant and fulfills the counsel of his messengers, who says to Jerusalem, it will be settled. That's a promise. Who says to the depths, dry up, and I will dry out your rivers. Who says of Cyrus, my shepherd. He will fulfill all my desire. This is all Cyrus and Mashiach ben Yosef axis, super basically, right? Programming. Goes on state, etc. now. Proceeding according to the explanation of the Gaon, the word in gematria equals Samael. Shmuel, maybe? No. Is that right? Because the purpose of building Eretz Israel is to drive out from the gates of Jerusalem. And therefore this is the mission of Cyrus as part of the mission of Mashiach ben Yosef from the left side, which means the quality of din. It goes on further to state that the might of Mashiach ben Yosef lies in the miraculous assistance that he can offer in connection with the ingathering of exiles that will come about when the awakening comes from below. Secondly, it is ordained that that one shall act and be successful. As a corollary, sort of, therefore largely wherever he's not going to be successful, he simply is restrained and bound from acting. So a lot of what you're going to see seems like a lot of him not doing anything ever. Thus it remains true that whenever he finally does act, it's guaranteed it's going to work. That's called the sniper approach instead of the spray and pray, with supernatural discernment added with it. Basically, right? One of the special characteristics of Mashiach ben Yosef is his successfulness when he does act. As it says with regard to Yosef, son of Yaakov, whatever he did, the Lord made prosper in his hand. The following great idea of the Gaon became known. There are only two commandments which a person's entire body has to enter in order to fulfill them. The commandment of the tabernacle and that of Eretz Israel. This is that means the land of Israel, for those who don't know. Interesting bridge to try to be as secularized as possible, but that's a preordained approach of mine that I'm always going to be holding to here. This is hinted at in the sentence, and his tabernacle was in Shalem, and his dwelling place in Zion. And the Gaon adds that the commandment regarding tabernacles requires one to do, that is, to fulfill a positive commandment, not to take from what is done. Likewise with regard to Zion, as it states in the Midrash on the sentence, a Redeemer will come to Zion. As long as Zion is not yet built, the Redeemer will not come. As our sages of blessed memory said, after Jerusalem is built, the son of David, that is Mashiach, will come. According to the Medrash, it goes on to state the son of David will not come until Jerusalem is built. It goes on to state furthermore, this is all in its time. The Lord's promise, rather, regarding the coming of Mashiach, in its time I will hasten it. The coming of Mashiach and everything that comes with it, including the building of the Beis Hamikdash, our sages interpreted this principle to mean that if they, the people of Israel, merit it, I will hasten it. That is the redemption. If not, I'll bring it in its own time. That's a standard interpretation. Regarding this, the Gaon commented that, after all, the verse should be interpreted literally. That's so interesting, because to me it makes perfect sense, but I see clips of rabbis like half losing their mind, like, what does it mean? What does it mean? And it has to do with a certain special collapsing regarding, I haven't really taught anything yet, or very little, I think. I have some good things that AI helps, it's quote unquote AI is teaching it, wink wink. You get me? I use it, that's my puppet hand. But a fair one. It's actually genuinely, plus I figure, because I know where the truth is, it converges towards truth. I know where truth is. We all agree at the end. So it's one of those things. Continuing, right? But properly speaking, genuinely, obviously it does work. Otherwise. But it has to do with the collapse of our understanding of free will. I'm almost revealing too much. Some things I want to save until there's a proper audience sitting in front of me listening to what I have to say about it. Come on, now. Some people are going to be in a lot of trouble soon, I think. I mean, wow. You can't fail the test that bad, people. Of course you have to. Let's continue. It goes on for a little state now. I'll touch upon that soon, because it kind of all connects to this and what is meant. Regarding this, the Gaon, because it has to do with our perception, I have to save it for later. The Gaon commented that after all, the verse should be interpreted literally, according to the plain interpretation. Even if the redemption comes at its proper time, I will hasten it. So when? That's some kind of seeming contradiction, right? No. It's going to be hate. I need a separate whole segment to explain what this all means. If I say it that way, it probably sounds like I don't even know what I'm talking about, which is designed that way. Keep making them think I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you later. When the smallest will become 1,000 and the young a mighty nation. People, you ever heard those old physics lectures? And it was with that famous physicist, I forgot his name. And he's sitting there, and he's like one of the smartest physicists. He discovered something, he won an award. You could like find the videos. They're from like 30-something, 40-something, 50-something. But he's like this New Yorker, and back then they really had the thick accent, so he's like this genius, really. And he's standing by the blackboard, and he's literally talking, when these molecules come together, you see, all right, okay, the protons and the electrons, all right, and you can't even, today in your mind, you can't even appreciate what he's telling you because you're so thrown off by the way. Oh, there's no way that guy, it's roughly similar with Trump, by the way, and the attribution people make about him, because you see a certain outside thing. If your sensory gets caught up with that, you miss what the hell is really going on. So those who see deeper see what's going on, but then the frazzle of your outside and then you're lost. You can never believe what's beyond what the screen you see. It's screened, right? Funny orange man, or protons and electrons. Meanwhile, he's the master, but you can't believe it, because you're in the sensory experience, caught up in that, so your attention can't proceed any further into the real inner truth of what that is. The brilliant light. Screen. It's designed this way. I am that. The worst among the worst of that. Look and then reconcile what you see with the other things that you see. You can't. Welcome to the test. The ultimate final test in this reality, really. Let's begin. Goes on to state. The words smallest and youngest refer to basically Joseph, Yosef, or Ephraim. They're essentially one and the same. For those so you can understand who is Mashiach ben Yosef, exactly right. In essence, the figurative, energetic alignment. Basically. It is known that the highest level of Mashiach ben Yosef, who will come when the awakening comes from below, this is very key. It has to start from the bottom, from the root, is where the awakening comes. That's the first level, and then on upwards. This is 1,000 less 1, or 999 in the Sephira of Yesod. We could take a look at the Tree of Life and learn a little bit more about the Kabbalistic framework for those who don't know anything about it. You should go learn a little more. I'm not a formal teacher. I know a little bit from years ago, basic review, and actually it's amazing I came across that stuff back then. And, you know, you're not going to learn the pristine stuff on that from me today, but there's other sources you can learn it formally, and then maybe you come back with me and somebody else shows me something and I'll connect something in a new way and you've never seen it, and then it'll be cool. And you'll have something extra on top. I know how do we do that. But it's one of those things. But otherwise, I really don't understand it if I haven't gotten the experience with it before. And I haven't seen everything, obviously. That's the irony, right? Make him the greatest when he seems like he's the most of a fool in all these ways. It's all mind-bending. Onwards. When the smallest one will become 1,000. That is when his deeds reach the level just below 1,000. Then I am the Lord. Therefore, given that this is who is telling you this, it is even in its time that I will hasten it. Ah, and I see another dimension of meaning. Huh. Yeah, I see. It's basically a hidden criticism. That's like a joke on you without you realizing it. Figure it out. Goes on to state, this is also the meaning of, and the things that are to come upon them will make haste. This is true too. In the words of the Gaon, in which there is also some hint regarding his name, there is a time for every desire. Means that determination of the time depends on the objective below. This is so Mashiach ben Yosef stuff, right? If you're connecting it all. Wow. As it says with regard to Cyrus, and he will fulfill all my desire. That's it. Close the books. As it proceeds here now to state, Cyrus was given his mission in connection with the Mashiach ben Yosef from the left side. That is, from the side of Din, that is operative when the awakening comes from below. Many times I have witnessed the Gaon pacing around his room, speaking agitatedly, saying, Lord of the universe, Master of the universe, don't you have a middle road between its time and I will hasten it? We insist on the plain interpretation of your promise. I am the Lord. In its time, I will hasten it. We see at the end now, truly this is the end of time. We saw that in the end of time, it was in its time, and that it was now hastened. Even still, it's a hastening, even when it's at the very end. Don't you get it? By possession and conquest in the... Come on. Don't make me spoil it. It'll be harsh. By possession and conquest in the revealed end. The fourth principle is that at the beginning of the redemption in our time, you see, it's the human being who can't see himself or draw the pre-carrying realizations about himself. Because when you perceive truth, people, these are truths relative in context to something else. Truths about the things, whatever they are, and within context. There's 2, 3 levels of layer. People don't perceive truth because they don't see context. So you remove an entire dimension. So then it does functionally leave you grasping with blind spots and edges of frontiers into the unknown. And you're like, I don't know. It's interesting. And that just a little more makes you go, no. The whole circuit's closed loop now. Everything is encapsulated. It's this, it's that. It becomes easy, basically. You just need to see it. If someone finds me and bugs me about it, we'll have a talk. Find me, figure it out. Obviously, some people know value, some people don't. Tests continue. The fourth principle, all right. The fourth principle is that at the beginning of the redemption in our time, the final redemption in the last generation, the real, true last generation, all activities must be in accord with one of 2 lines or paths. One is the line of Ezra and Nehemiah, the other is the line of Joshua. Regarding the sentence, you shall possess it and you shall settle in it, Rabbi Eliyahu the Vilna Gaon says, because of your merit in taking possession of it, you will dwell in it. Joshua, of course, who came in and was able to dwell in it, as it seems. The whole thing is that Moses wasn't able to come into the land. That's the basic backstory for those who don't understand the basics. Continues to state, and how will you take possession of it? By establishing your claim. How does one establish a claim? This is done by building and planting, as is the law in general with regard to possession of land. This is in line with what was done by Ezra and Nehemiah. However, when necessary, force may also be used. In this case, there is a kametz under the het, meaning by force. If there is a hataf patach under the het, it means establishing a claim by possession. And this is in line with what was done by Joshua. The Gaon showed us a wonderful hint regarding this idea, that according to Gematria, Ezra and Nehemiah together equal Joshua. Joshua is a descendant of Ephraim ben Yosef, so therefore it's that same line in sort of energetics. A descendant of Ephraim ben Yosef, the one who fought Amalek, which is why it's the job of Mashiach ben Yosef to finalize the overcoming and the defeat of Amalek. Who is Amalek? Come in and find out. It should be clear. I'll likely use AI to really parse it out well, so that you'll really get it and digest it and believe it, because it's the best, strongest, cleanest case and understanding and the inner. It's all about the inner essence and panemius of who is Amalek. Continue. It's loosely corresponding with overlap to kind of where people think it is today when we point. Loosely, yet so much more. Right? And yet not really. Yet it's ultimately very simple. Onwards. In Gematria, go and check out the other videos on my channel, and I hinted that in one or two videos at least. In Gematria, when counting the values of all the letters pronounced when saying the word, this equals Sitra Achra. The mission of Joshua, son of Nun, a descendant of Ephraim, was to fight Amalek. So it's a never-ending mission until you finally succeed. I think the best essential encapsulation of what that is let me find that real quick.
And it could be not 2012, but 2025. 2025 is maybe when this river of fire hits us, affecting all of these people who are in the pit. The doomed ones, the dark children, they refuse to accept salvation. They crawl on for another 100 years, and they eventually, their personalities get completely destroyed, and they're not allowed into any of the good places anymore.
Isn't it?
Joshua was the Mashiach ben Yosef, who was supposed to counterattack, or literally to bring the war back to the gates of Jerusalem at the entrance to the city. Here would be the center of the war against Esav. All that Esav. As it says, there he broke the flames of the bow. This mission of Mashiach ben Yosef was hinted at in the sentence above. His tabernacle was or will be in Shalem, and his dwelling place in Zion. By using Gematria, the Gaon discovered a hint regarding his own mission, and a hint at his name in the words, his tabernacle in Shalem, and his dwelling place in Zion. And different people over the years come in different ways to discover who it is, and what soul resonance and correspondences we have, and what we are meant to do, ultimately. Goes on further to state, those words equal the value of 3 generations of the Gaon, Eliyahu, son of Shlomo, Zalman, son of Issachar, Dov, as explained below in chapter 3. These things ensure us that in our war against Amalek, that is the real war. That's the war of God, basically. We will fight the wars of God. It's basically the substantive war. It's against substantive Amalek, the panemius of Amalek, what Amalek represents and means. Okay? Let me give you a slightly bigger hint. Do you know how in the Greek tradition, you have that story of 300, and there's a movie about that? And somewhere roughly within that whole story, there was that character, Ephialtes. And Ephialtes conducted a betrayal of those 300. And the Persians basically rewarded him or whatever, but, So what happened to Ephialtes was that back when he was named that was just his name. But because of what he did was so impactful, because it was such a big deal that this happened, that his name became associated with the word. It became the word that meant exactly that thing that it connoted, whether it was like betrayer or the something like this, right? Roughly, whatever. You could go look it up. And okay, so it's in that tradition. So who is Ephialtes? Well, there's the Ephialtes, the person, so we have to battle Ephialtes. Well, the person was back then. It's not the person. He represents something. The name now refers to anybody who's like that is an Ephialtes. You're an Ephialtes? You understand? So who is Amalek? Well, what were the attributes of Amalek? That's who we're fighting against. Amalek became the face of the underlying condition. The underlying condition that the Amalekites carried is the thing we're going to war against. Just the Amalekites did it so well, like Ephialtes did, that they became the namesake worthy of being known for that thing, that it became tied with their name. But remember what the underlying thing is. It's not the person Ephialtes as much as the group Amalek, and find their descendants. Don't find their descendants. The point is, the substance is, who are people who act like that? Destroy them. Just let the light fill your eyes now. It's the world around us. We have some work to do. Today. What the hell is taking you so long? It's the most inner panemius answer you're going to get. Because it's the only correct convergent answer. We could do super deep on AI and you'll get the whole deeper thing. Let's proceed. What's amazing is that just as it happens now, it's 2025, only in the last few years or so has appreciation for, like, it's always been an awareness, but I would say that the level and depth of awareness, when multiplied and taken as a product, that whole area, mass, volume-wise, or whatever, is several times, maybe nearly an order of magnitude times larger than awareness about the particular issue that I have in mind is, than it would that was from compared to 10, 15 years ago. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? A lot of women know. More people broadly know more about that thing and related systemic things connected to that. It's all that. Just different frameworks use different words to give different names onto that and what you call that and the broad cluster of essences and ways of being that are that spiritual dysfunction in essence that allows one to act in as an Amalek. Even halfway, part of the way, almost as an Esav, but that's mix and sort of mix, or like a Cain. Okay? So you see, Cain, Amalek, Esav is sort of the one axis, and the other axis of Yaakov, of, all the Yosef and all that, and on and on. You guys understand the polarities of this. You could run it all those ways, but that's basically the deal. Now, goes on to state that these things ensure us that in our war against Amalek from every aspect, our tabernacle will be complete with the help of God. Exactly right. Exactly right. And make no mistake. And the Gaon meant by his interpretation of the words, you shall inherit it by establishing your claim, that this refers to the time of the revealed end mentioned by our sages. On the sentence, you, mountains of Israel, will give forth your branch and bear your fruit for my people, Israel, etc. Goes on to state, this was the keen desire of the Vilna Gaon. That was all, a major principle, rather, of the Gaon now was that all activities regarding the beginning of the redemption have to be similar to the activities during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah and in the time of Cyrus. The Gaon wrote specifically that in gathering of the exiles can be merited by fulfilling the mitzvahs that are dependent on being in land of Israel. The second meaning of what is represented by this is take possession by force. In the words of the Gaon, that is, the het with the comments as noted above, is, as it says, in accord with the sentence, settle in your cities that you have taken. Sometimes you just got to get up and take, because you have divine right or permission to proceed in that way. So you're backed by God. Never mind what man says. This is what is meant. Continue. The purpose of gathering in the exiles is exactly to wage God's war against Amalek. I'm going to say this slightly differently. The purpose of shifting almost kaleidoscopically the regime change energetically so that we're out of Roman programming, which is the whole society we live in now all over Earth, really. The whole programming is the Roman spawn framework seed developed outwards. It's all over now. It's still all in it, right? It's got the Judaic undercurrent in much of it, always laying largely very dormant, with the Roman framework really being the dominant thing we're captured into. All of us, everybody on Earth, underlies everything. Cultural programming, mindset. It's all senses and sensibilities that you have about everything imaginable is all that. Unless you're literally in the middle of the tribe of Africa, uncontacted, or in the Amazon or the Aboriginal, you're touched by it. Even by China today, you're influenced significantly enough, and pretty much everywhere else. Possibly, Tibet and Mongolia are the other last, all that. Okay. The waging of God's war against Amalek. Why is nothing else considered to be God's war? Because everything else you people come up with is still man's war. That's not what counts at the true highest and most important levels. Only the war, the substantive war against substantive Amalek, is at the level that, that's God's war you're fighting now on behalf of God, for real. Is to destroy that. How is it that the shifting of the energetic regime change that enables us to quantum leap and just break out of the jail cell of Rome now, and all of a sudden, oh my God, Mashiach, new future, new way programming, get out now. We can all stop participating in this. Then the ability for the first time becomes activated. The potential becomes practically achievable to set the new understanding upon everybody so quickly as to what we are all to do now, what we are all to value now. Remember, a king sets culture, where presidents, for example, do not. It's a cultural level, almost soul level kind of programming. Your earthly soul, your outward-facing vibrancy gets changed at the level of culture, so to speak, and cultural influence when you take on the new regime change energetically, which is what? Oh, it's, look, you join a new cult, your regime energies go conversion all the way. Exactly. This is conversion into the new system of energetics that permits our collective recognizing of what is wrong and how to fight and destroy it. Then it happens in a few years or 10 years or whatever, before 2,000 years, these people are still around. Look around. Okay? That's the largest and most significant aspect of what attributes to Amalek. Various people find that it signifies and hints at multiple levels. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But the most important is the panemius, the inner substance. Like that. The chassidus of it, as I said. So really, this is one of the most important sentences. We're not just ending exile. Get a bunch of human bodies to cross the national borderline. Yeah, but not really, no. Rather, energetic regime shift. It's to facilitate the substantive war against the wrong kind of spiritual energies that possess cultural remnants of what's still around us in people. It's not about increasing demographics, because that doesn't do anything for you. Everything has to have, that's fragmentation still. You have to make integration of your understanding of what's happening and why. Everything is the why. You people don't see the why very well. Continuing. I'm supposed to read the book. That thing tells me squares and squares and squares, but you can't. It's not integrating. That's why everything's fragmented till now. Let's continue. I mean, really, I could repeat this 50 times over and over again. This is the heart of the matter, people. We go on. This is the main mission of Joshua as well, in line with Mashiach ben Yosef. So whoever that Mashiach ben Yosef guy is, he's probably going to have a natural inclination to really do the crap out of this, of the highest order of craziness. Like, it's this. It's in their blood. Like, I'm telling you, it's exactly that. It's in their instinct. Yeah, that guy. Find him wherever he is. Continuing. It includes every aspect of this war. Continuing against all the enemies of Israel as well, including Armilis as well. Because it's all roughly connected and along similar axes. But then there's some ironies. Because that has a double meaning as to who Armilis really is. You see? Who is Armilis? It's Rome. In one sense. Who else is Armilis? The prince of the mixed multitude. We continue from here. Those who have insight into the matters have insight a little bit into these matters. Goes on for now to state, it is also intended to remove the spirit of impurity from the land and to bring Knesset Israel and Shina from below, from the earth. The opening of the war of Gog and Magog will start with the first redemption before the coming of the righteous Mashiach, Mashiach ben David. He is the righteous Mashiach because he's the Mashiach seemingly of the right side, thus righteous. That's the Mashiach ben David. May also be speedily in our day, but it couldn't have been, because he won't permit it. The main activity, Mashiach ben David cannot and will not come. He's not able to come. This is a promise. Cannot come until Mashiach ben Yosef comes first and completes his job. Then and only then is it allowed that Mashiach ben David energies can come and fill the space. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it reversed. We continue. The main activity concerns building Jerusalem and gathering in the exiles and fulfilling the commandments connected with the land according to secrets concerning the revealed end. Keep this in mind. All of the above is the mission of the Gon, the light of Mashiach ben Yosef, that is, according to his exalted directives, both explicit and hinted at by way of tzafnat paneach, or by calculations, or by way of secrets in Kol HaTorah regarding the actual beginning of the revealed end. This was the keen desire of the Vilna Gaon and his students. The rabbi's mission is hidden in the sentence, "Visualize Zion, the city of our designated times," which was said regarding the mission of Mashiach ben Joseph ben Yosef. Likewise, as it states, based on known hints, the Holy Ari viewed his own mission as that of Mashiach ben Yosef. What more? Escapees or refugees in Zion. The fifth principle is that for in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there will be those who escape, and among the remnant those whom the Lord will call. Since according to the Medrash Tanhuma, Zion is in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef, whatever befell Yosef, therefore befell Zion. And this exactly there's multiple levels to this, and I sort of lightly sprinkle a hint at this and that in different ways. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I sound like a complete threatening, out of my mind, psycho nut job. Just don't fall for it, though. But the other thing is, it's absolutely pinpoint. It's actually multiple convergent things. It's outside the scope of this video, in fact, now that I think about it. But yeah, there's been rockets raining down on Israeli land this year like never before. That is all tied up to what befell Yosef, what befalls Yosef, what continues to be permitted to befall Yosef, and other that yeah, that's one of the truest things I've said this whole video. The prophetic weight on that is like big, 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 and bigger. Yeah. Yeah, even to me, I'm a little surprised. Okay, it goes on to state the Gaon says that this is hinted at also in the word among the remnant, which in Gematria equals Mashiach ben Yosef, by means of whom, which is 100 short of 666. Okay, by means of whom, according to the Gaon, the ingathering of the exiles will be accomplished. As the number of ingathered increases, so the Sitra Achra will increase in its strength as well. Another prosecutor will be added. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a prosecutorial, what we call satanic. From the Christian perspective, a little twisted. What's satanic? Oh, it's evil. Well, really, super technically, literally, if you understand Satan, that's a divine, it's a, at least quasi-divine or divine function, basically, is needed. That's the prosecutor. So what's a satanic function? A satanic essence? That's the prosecutorial essence. That's the privilege and entitlement to test and to prosecute, to enable condemnation with privilege and immunity. If you find a guy who, according to what is understood, and that's Mashiach ben Yosef, the real one, is he going to have his soul root attached to the root of the Satan, the Satan as is understood? Yeah. People, I might make a separate video about this. People say you make a deal with the devil, and then because you think you've made a deal with the devil, you believe as you see, then it's a transaction. So you believe you've gained some kind of empowerment, though you paid something else also. But the party you transacted with, who permitted that and had the power to do that for you, and who retains and controls the terms, like you're under Satan, right? Okay, so whatever you bargained for, okay? As stacked up as you can get by those kinds of energetics and transactions, that's not you being the dealer. You're still on the other side. You're on the customer side of that desk. You are always on the customer side. You don't become Satan, okay? You don't become the devil. You're just the one who accrued because you transacted with that one who sold to you as the customer. You don't become the dealer. It's different. Okay? If you're somebody who does wrong, anything that's in the godly realm, there's only pure substance, basically. Really. So here's something that might be mind-blowing. God sees the most substantive aspects of rights and substantive aspects of wrongs, and tracks and values according to the substance of the right, the substance of the wrong, by infinite nuance that attributes to the substance. So, if what you did was actually substantively wrong by the objective eye lens of God, according to that measurement, whether you see it or not, or whatever, but regardless of whether you did that and you paying, or you get to offset the payment because you're making deals with the devil, so to speak, at any level energetically, implicitly or explicitly, knowingly or unknowingly. Hey, you know what you can't do or get away with? If you're doing anything that's against God's rules, and Satan is there to screw the people who go against God's rules, and the only way to get away with that, or throw off that debt, is to make these special deals, but that only really offsets. It's a refinancing. You can't really eliminate the debt. Obviously, you know that. you're in debt to Satan. You can't then come around, find the person who's a human being, if his root soul is attached to Satan. Hey, you know what the difference between you and the human being who actually shares the root soul with Satan himself? Do you know what the difference between you and that actual one is? You're on the completely wrong side of the transaction desk. Guess what the stupid metaphysical divine Darwin award is of the stupidest things on earth you could possibly dream of. I mean, you can't make it any dumber than that. The worst thing you can do is fail Satan's test by incurring guilt, and then whether or not you then had some attempt with further energetic transactions to offset guilt or hope that it could be, that you then use that to try to somehow piss off or disadvantage or otherwise move against the person who is actually the root of the one who is sitting in the seat of Satan. Wow, you can't possibly. You have no idea. This is how I get the karmic jurisdiction to complete. I'm not going to say it because it's going to be flagged this video of what's going to happen on this planet. And all of you. You can't be that possibly dumb. Then we leave the hint. Know it. It's simple. It's actually the ABCs of metaphysics. Really, doesn't matter what you believe, what you think, what you feel. That's all. We preset that up for you to believe yourselves. Continuing. Of course, by Mashiach ben Yosef, the ingathering of the exiles will be accomplished. There's a reason why all those soul roots and all that has to be bound in that particular individual and all this. All from the left side and all from below. Continuing, as the number of... The only way to pass the test, it's the Chinese finger trap, as is said. All what's fated and guaranteed to happen passes, and in a good way, ultimately. This is the good way, and it goes exactly what we're going to see a little later, I think, here. We only move through this gate, so to speak, fully once we develop the new nature such that it no longer becomes an issue that there is a failing anymore. You people know human beings and human nature? Okay? You go to a drawing board and paint a picture of what practical construct must be created and bringing all of humanity through in order to accomplish this genuinely. This is the power that God will grant. No wonder it's going to be called strict din and gevura and strict justice for you. But it will be beautiful, good strict justice. Prosecutors are added, and on we go. In Zion and in Jerusalem there will be those who escape, and among the remnant a word to the wise is sufficient. This worry they're going a great deal. What is the connection between abundance from above on the one hand and the refugees in Zion and Jerusalem on the other hand? The ingathering of exiles clears the way for abundance from above to reach Israel. Yes, and because it does. Again, principally, substantively, energetically. The abundance and all the upper special characteristics that will come by way of Zion and Jerusalem will be evident in life, in salvation, evident in blessings, in peace and loving kindness and mercy and goodness, etc. Yes, it's true. All that it will happen. Such an abundance is mentioned specifically in the following passages. Abundance of life, for example, is noted, and there the Lord commanded the blessing of life forever. and in to look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Can you have the capacity to see this? To get to behold it even? That's a big deal. You don't know how big that is. Watch this. We'll read on. Abundance of salvation is noted in 4. From Zion comes salvation for Israel. Abundance of blessings is mentioned in may God bless you from Zion, etc. And in because there the Lord commanded the blessing. Abundance of peace, as in peace of Jerusalem, and peace means the city of peace. Abundance of loving kindness, as in like the dew of the Hermon that descends on the mountains of Zion. The dew of the Hermon refers to the attribute of loving kindness. Abundance of mercy and grace and all that. For God builds Jerusalem with mercy, as is written, who in his mercy builds Jerusalem. Abundance of goodness, as is written, and see the goodness of Jerusalem, and this good mountain, and the Lebanon. All of the above are the assignment of Mashiach ben Yosef, because Zion is in line with Yosef according to the Medrash mentioned above. As long as Zion is desolate, it's just a spirit of impurity that prevails, and that does place obstacles which prevent the passage of abundance from above. These obstacles are very apparent. Only building Jerusalem can strengthen the connection, as it states, build up Jerusalem, build up Yerushalayim, is building up the cities like a city united together. Goes on to state, as the next point, Torah also coming from Zion, with the added dimension, for it is stated by one interpretation, there's mildly differing interpretations, or whatever. Essentially, a new dimension of Torah will be revealed. That much pretty much is clear. That's right, it should. For from Zion will the Torah come forth. Torah is teaching. From there will the teaching be coming forth. This refers to the revelation of the secrets of the Torah, whose principal source is Zion and Jerusalem. The Gaon wrote much about the fact that the redemption depends on learning Kabbalism, or understanding it, right? For thus the teachings of our righteous Mashiach will be revealed gradually, which means the teachings, the Torah of Eretz Israel, which is the Jerusalem Talmud, as is stated here regarded. This is revealed in the words, and the gold of the land is good. Regarding the next thing, of Tzofnat Paneach, at the beginning of the redemption, when it is time to favor her, which will occur through Mashiach of the beginning of the redemption, then hints in the Torah and in the works of our sages of blessed memory will begin to be revealed. Thereby people will begin to understand the ways of the beginning of the redemption and the footsteps of the Mashiach hinted at in the words, designated deeds, times, and emissaries. As is written, the buds were seen on the land, the songbird's time has arrived, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. Also, as it further states, according to the command, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. As explained below in chapters 3 and 4, the Gaon came down from heaven in order to reveal the hints of the Torah regarding the footsteps of the Mashiach, hinted at in Tzofnat Paneach, and accordingly to instruct us how to act during the period known as the footsteps of the Mashiach. There are 7 ways, then, for the beginning of the redemption to occur in practice. Good, right, practice, with the help of God. What are these 7? The first one, this is how the redemption is going to come about. They prophetically grasp at these truths and present them here for us. It has something to do with, it's going to look like, it's all about pangs and pleasure. Interesting. That's how the redemption starts. We must know beforehand that the beginning of the redemption will come by way of suffering and also of pleasure, as hinted at in the sentence, pangs for Yosef. Peaking in both. Come on, who knows my story? It's so great. All for... See that? The will of God is unitary. It will come with the quality of din when the awakening starts from below. The footsteps of the Mashiach come with pangs and sometimes even indirectly. On the other hand, in contrast, the quality of loving kindness is present. As it says, he, Israel, stretched out his right hand and placed it on Ephraim's head. We must know beforehand that during the period of the footsteps of the Messiah, whenever there is trouble, help will come. And the help will come out of the trouble. As it states, it is a time of trouble for Yaakov, but out of it he will be saved. Goes on to state that the Gaon in his commentary on Habakkuk regarding the verse, I will rest on the day of distress, states that this sentence refers to Mashiach ben Yosef resting again, even while in distress, and that we should know beforehand that Eretz Israel is obtained by suffering. But in that manner it is definitely obtained. The footsteps of the Mashiach comes with disturbances. It also comes with obstacles brought on by the angel of Esav. That's right, and the whole thing, the energetics, this Mashiach ben Yosef is essentially aligned, in one sense, largely primarily with the Yaakov and Yaakovian energy, if you will. And then, as with most of the figures, there's like a dual opposite that's within the scene and within the story, playing out their karmic roles too, according to what their natures are. So it's very interesting. So here again, and it's interesting to get into the whole Yaakov and Esav dynamic. Yeah, there's a Yaakov and there's an Esav. This is realer than you would believe, actually. Boy, is there an Esav, all right. Wow. My God, right? But let's learn a little bit more about this, because the angel of Yaakov would correspond to the angel that comes along with, bound up with, or as, along with Mashiach ben Yosef. And then separately you have the angel of Esav, corresponding to the Roman secularized energy and correspondence and all this, basically. That's the Armilus and all that, and angel of the mixed multitude as well, which are Jews by name, but, and that's a whole thing. People can look into it however you like. People make different things and interpretations of what is meant and understood by the mixed multitude, quote unquote. Goes on to state that finally, however, the angel of Esav will fall into the hands of the angel of Yosef. The angel of Yaakov and the angel of Yosef, right? As we find in the Medrash Tanchuma on the Parsha, Kitezit, with the help of the Mashiach ben David, as happened when Judah saved Yosef, and as meant by the words, out of the strong came forth sweetness, and by he will accept the work of our hands. Therefore, God forbid that we retreat when difficulties arise or when an obstacle appears to prevent us from continuing to work. This is very important. On the contrary, we must trust that out of that obstacle, help will come to Yaakov, to Jacob, to Joseph, basically as well, right? And from the straits we will reach the breadth, the abundance of divine help. That's very interesting. This is what the redemption's all about. Furthermore, next, to walk or act modestly. Every act of the beginning of redemption must be in accord with the verse, walk modestly with your God, as revealed in the words, place it in the ears of Joshua, who was in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef. The word in the ears of should be taken literally, but it also hints at something concealed. In Gematria, that word for concealment equals 70. Likewise, the following word shown here equals 70 as well. In addition, the Gaon mentions another hint. He quotes the verse, "The secret counsel of the Lord is with those that fear him." If we add up the letters of as pronounced, I think this was, we see the issue here. They left out the nouns there, whatever. That is, as shown, then the total value of the letters is 566, which equals the value of Mashiach ben Yosef, by means of whom the ingathering of the exiles will be accomplished. The Gaon also commented on the words, "It is the glory of God to conceal a thing." In Gematria, the words "to conceal a thing" equal "you have brought the tribes." With this in mind, the Gaon directed us to call the prophecies concerning the ingathering of the exiles the vision of Zion, rather than return of the exiles. That's good. That's right. That's more accurate. The vision of Zion. Just quantum leap phase activated now. It's energetic. It's not moving human bodies. But then when you activate it in the substance and in the heavens and in that level, it'll happen that as a secondary post effect, human bodies will correspondingly move around also. Basically. Very basically, but right. Literally, return of Zion. The vision of Zion refers to the sentence, "Visualize Zion, the city of our designated times." Take the energy of the new regime. The designated time of the redemption depends on Zion. Thus, the sentence refers to the Mashiach ben Yosef. This concurs with what is found in the writings of the Holy Ari of blessed memory. It also agrees with the sentence, "To visualize the pleasantness of the Lord and seek deep understanding in his temple," as we know. See below the second chapter, which will regard the 156 aspects of Mashiach ben Yosef. We will find them soon. See, it will happen little by little. We must know beforehand that the beginning of the redemption will come gradually, a little at a time. According to our sages of blessed memory, the redemption of Israel will come about little by little, like the first rays of light before dawn. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord is a light to me. Exactly right. A light that increases more and more until the day is established. Mashiach comes as the sunrise, as is understood by some. But do they really understand? Doesn't seem like it. Fragmentation. We continue. Therefore, one should start any deed connected with the beginning of the redemption, even to a small extent, as is written, one from a city and two from a family. The Gaon states that there is an important rule that anything that will occur when the redemption is complete will begin gradually at its beginning. This is also, hence the name. My last name is Winslow. You can't make this up. I mean, so you take the first letter of the first name, right? And the first letter can represent largely other things that start with that first letter. So you have J and the surname Winslow. That's unbelievable. Okay, we resume. It goes on to even state that the gradual, anything that will occur when the redemption is complete will begin gradually at its beginning. This is also true of rebuilding Jerusalem as well. One should begin even with one stone. According to what is written, "Behold, I lay in Zion a foundation stone, a tried stone. For this stone will test the will to rebuild Jerusalem and to enlarge the site of its tent. And God will help us do this, to make the reach of these stones grow," basically. Big things. We also asked the Gaon about what is revealed by the words, "I will direct it at my slow pace." That is, why must the beginning of the redemption occur slowly? And boy, does it certainly feel that way. If it comes when it is a time of favor on the part of God in connection with gathering in the exiles of Israel, Is the hand of God short? That is it too difficult for God to accomplish this task on a large scale all at once? Regarding the things, as a slight side note, it's still very relevant, that will take place and transpire regarding the one who is the true King Messiah. It is said that regarding that one, what you certainly will find, according to the Medrash, says that the future Redeemer, as per this pattern, will be first revealed, then he will be concealed, and then only after that will he be revealed again. Wherever you are observing this pattern, this is where you will find God at work. Proceeds to state here, the Gaon then explained to us that the period of the beginning of the redemption will come into being if the Jews do not have the merit, which means when it does not come because of our righteousness. In that case, if the redemption comes suddenly, then on the one hand, and this is important to consider, it will be impossible to bear the suffering that will come with the quality of din, as explained above. On the other hand, it will be impossible to accept the great light that will come all at once from the sight of loving kindness. We must understand all this beforehand in connection with the practical work involved in gathering in the exiles. Proceeding, then, I asked the Gaon what to do, if in reality it would be possible physically to bring all of Israel to Eretz Israel all at once. For so many questions and difficulties would arise in arranging the settlement, that is, the land of Israel again. After deep reflection upon this question, the Gaon replied, if it becomes possible to bring to the Eretz Israel 600,000 at one time, that should be done immediately, because there is great and complete, all-encompassing power in the number 600,000, and having 600,000 move through the various relevant gates from one side of that gate through the other side of that gate, it seems, and that could defeat Samael in the gates of Jerusalem. Then the complete redemption would come miraculously, aided by the clouds of heaven. It is regarded, as it states furthermore, then the ransomed of the Lord will return and come to Zion with glad song and with everlasting joy upon their heads. According to our sages of blessed memory as well as the Gaon, this refers to the period of Mashiach ben Yosef. The verse includes the letters of the number 600,000. We know beforehand that in contrast to all the good things that will come gradually during the time of Mashiach, according to the important rule the Gaon explained above, there will be obstacle caused by the Sitra Achra, obstacles detailed by our sages that will occur during the time of the Mashiach, the footsteps of the Mashiach, God forbid. We find that to be true somewhat, for sure. Continuing, but with the help of God we can overcome them, as our prophets and our sages have promised us. And at the direction of the Gaon, as well as with his holy blessing, at the beginning of the redemption by the ingathering of exiles, when the awakening of the Mashiach ben Yosef starts from below. Gradually, then, the special good attributes of the Mashiach ben Yosef will also appear. As is written, open up the gates of salvation. I was brought low, and he saved me. Out of it he will be saved. The Lord has saved his anointed, etc. All this was said about the Mashiach ben Yosef, a good channel, that is 999, revealed in the words, whoever sees the letter in a dream, etc. And so the blessing of El Shaddai is that all of these should be matters of holiness. Continuing, all these are the assignment of Mashiach ben Yosef and of the light of Mashiach ben Yosef in the final generation. That is, as they regarded it, of the light of the Gaon at that time then, as it seemed, whose light increases until the day is established. And, as we may add, where this continues and culminates until the real, true, final generation, as the circumstances and the other considerations indicate. What more will we find? D. This will be not the coming on the clouds of heaven, but the poor man riding on the donkey. Lowly, in other words. Goes on to state, if the beginning of the redemption occurs without merit by the people, it will come about with as a poor man riding on a donkey, that is, someone who in poverty. That will be your Mashiach, both with regard to the ingathering of the exiles and the rebuilding of Jerusalem. As it states, they will come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them, etc. And Ephraim is my firstborn. Onwards, the Gaon hinted here that in Gematria the word supplications equals Mashiach ben Yosef. So it is written, I was brought low, and he saved me. which refers to Mashiach, son of Ephraim. This is what David prayed for, that Mashiach ben Yosef would not die, as explained by the Gaon in his Bor, Yahel Or. And with regard to building Jerusalem, as it states, the Lord will lift Zion, and the poor of his people will find refuge in it. All this will be like the image of a poor man riding a donkey. It will appear this way. It will occur, as it states, when the awakening of the beginning of the redemption comes naturally, until we merit that coming from the clouds of heaven, as it states, perhaps not explicitly, or perhaps alongside or with Mashiach ben David. Continuing, people of truth. One of the main means of the survival of all our work is the establishment of a group of people of truth. As a side note, this is extremely important. I'm trying to do everything in my power to create some sort of way to identify and process what truth is by a system that reliably does so, even better than anything we've known before. Technology can assist in that to that end, as we have new technology now that facilitates this, as we know. Continuing here now. According to our sages of blessed memory, Yerushalayim was destroyed only because truthful men were no longer there, and so could not establish men of truth with integrity in our own holy city. Without that, there is no value to all our labor and everything you do as a human being. If you're not a truthful man with integrity, what the hell are you doing? You're destroying yourselves and each other and everything. God forbid. Wake up. Stop it. This, then, as it states, according to all the bases and rules that we have set up with the help of God. What more, as we find equal measures. The settlement of our Holy Land in general and the construction of Yerushalayim in particular must be according to the principle of equal, that is, balanced and accurate measures for everyone. Fair standards, substantively, that is, by which to judge or praise or assess and determine the truth about any and all things. No funny side-eye or slantiness ever. That isn't the balanced approach. Any determinations and findings and attempts to make things look and appear a certain way that aren't actually the whole balanced truth is a shame and a curse on your head. Stop it. According to our sages of blessed memory, Mashiach ben David will not come until all the measures and prices are equal. Yet another interpretation by them is that Mashiach ben David will not come until all the rates are accurately balanced, in other words. That's very good too. Until everybody on earth, by their nature, is no longer ever approaching and assessing anything in the funny way. But I would add that that can only happen once Mashiach ben Yosef completes his work, which must be very difficult work to dishearten anyone from ever dreaming to do anything but engage with the reality around you in such a way as is shown here. That's the thing. May Almighty God bring this speedily. Yes, God, now. Amen. Continuing, see the commentary of our sages on equally measured gardens. Proceeds, goes on to state here, this too is included in the assignment of the Gaon as expressed, and in the light of Mashiach ben Yosef as expressed in the verse, your house should not have two different weights for measurement of whatever it is you have beholding in front of you, anywhere, anything, about anything or anyone. A large one and a small one. Anything of the substantive Hasidus, destroy it. Which is immediately followed, as goes on to state, by a perfect and just weight you shall have, both at the level of form and figuratively, essentially, for all things substantively in life, within your mind as you look and see. Continuing in the last verse, the Gaon found his name and his assignment in the Torah, as is known. The Gaon explained to us that the term "in your house" refers to Eretz Israel, as it states, in order that your days be long upon the land, etc. Afterwards it states that the Lord your God gives you, because it's the Lord your God who gives it to you. When do we try to do the work of God? Sometimes. But for now, with what's important here, proceeding likewise with respect to a built-up Jerusalem, it states, "Peace be within your walls," translated by Onkelos as peace regarding your possessions. For there is no durable peace unless there is peace regarding possessions in equal measures, such that no one can ever arise saying, "You have prejudiced me," or "You have prejudiced the thing or the matter in any way," where you offset this on the one side where this deserved to be set as something else. Proceeding in order to carry out the intention of the text, every valley will be lifted up and every mountain and hill will be made low. Level it out, in essence, basically, in accord with what is written, "In righteousness will you be established," meaning in a way that is just and equal for everyone, as it states, "I will make justice the line, and righteousness the plummet or the weight." Thank God. Who isn't fighting for such a world? Who isn't hungry for such a world as this? Everybody who loves this slantiness, that's who. Get rid of these people. With regards, basically, and one can go more on that, but for now we will read here. With regard to setting Jerusalem, our sages of blessed memory have already said that Jerusalem was not part of the division of Eretz Israel into districts for each tribe. Interestingly, also no house in Jerusalem should be leased out. In chapter 6 of this work, the matter is explained in greater detail. If it is fulfilled, this is, then the verse, "For as the seed of peace, the vine will give forth her fruit," will be fulfilled. According to our sages of blessed memory, the statement that Eretz Israel will give forth its fruit was said with regard to the revealed end, and this is the main foundation for the establishment of truthful men, discussed above. Proof of this, as it further now states here, lies in the fact that in Gematria the word equals 457, a hint to the wise is sufficient. We further find that this will be in righteousness, also with charity. As the Rebbe said in his own version of this, all you need to add at the end is that bit of extra grace or loving kindness in order to bring the redemption. How could that possibly apply to real, practical, existing cases regarding issues you find existing in the world around you practically, where if you do what from your own sensibility would be the adding of a little bit of the above and beyond, the grace owed, so to speak, morally, then it would be the thing. Wow. Save God. Save the world. Do you know what a high position you would have in the coming world if you are a human being and you stepped up and you said, "You know what? Hey, let me see what I can do for this, what I can do for you. I have compassion on you and I see what you are going through." Just by the simple nature of what would come and happen from this, do you have any idea how high in heaven God will place you? And do you have any idea how high in this earth God and the Messiah himself would place you? In a God-guaranteed future? This is why God mocks the foolish. Because anyone who doesn't realize that, or if this is made plain to you, and then you still don't realize this, God and the devil and Satan have the ultimate punishment for that one. We know this. But it will be basically according to the nature. We will see. As it states, where Yerushalayim will only be redeemed through charity, Zion will be redeemed with justice, and those who return to her with charity. The word pidyon, redemption, or ransom is in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef. This is what the Gaon hinted at in the words, "It will be redeemed with justice," which in Gematria is equal to the first Mashiach. It states, "In righteousness will you be established." The word righteousness should be taken literally. Righteousness means equality for everyone. Yeah, it can mean that for sure. As in, "And I will make righteousness the plummet." That is the weight. The plain meaning of righteousness should be understood here. That is, in this case or context, a generous contribution wherever such is morally owed, and that's what makes it right. Do right in this world and God and love God such that you may be loved fully by God and rewarded. Amen. Let us pray. It was decreed, because there's a lot more that still isn't being spoken about, which is prophesied and which will come to pass exactly as it is specified, which we haven't touched upon yet much here, and this is not really the subject matter of this portion here. But boy, very many are being put through their own respective tests that God ordains for them. Preceding it was decreed, and it is also an expression of pardon, that the resettlement of Israel will be accomplished through contributions, because God wanted to give all of Israel, the near and the far, credit for taking part in the building of the property of God. This reflects what I personally basically have insight into. There's going to be a whole lot of everybody moving, because it's going to be what's necessary, and being involved in making Israel the land of milk and honey. Go see my other videos and find out why and what that means. It will be flowing with milk and honey. We will all be taking part in the building of the property of God according to what is written, and gather from all of Israel silver to strengthen the house of your God. Why? Everything connects with the other things I have specified in my other videos preceding, and for the building of Jerusalem as well. Right. Many other commandments of the Torah included and concealed here, as explained below in chapter 7. What else do we find? Yosef is still alive. The independence of Mashiach ben Yosef is related to 3 categories. The Mashiach ben Yosef from above is the angel Metatron, the minister of the interior, as is known. Yosef is, in essence, the angel of Metatron. Both of them are from the light from above, and both are in the Sephira Yesod as well, and active in the war against Armilus, especially in the war of Gog and Magog. He is helped by Sariah ben Dun. It's interesting. There's also a little bit of a tradition. Maybe I'll save this for another recording, but something interesting regarding an offshoot from the tribe of Dun, which is energetically an offshoot off of and about Mashiach ben Yosef as well. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but some interesting aspects that will be playing out in this reality regarding how low people go, ultimately to fulfill some aspect of what's predestined regarding what they're supposed to be doing, and then their turnaround and recovery. And we're not talking about Mashiach ben Yosef. Okay? That's all we're going to say. I don't want to spoil the surprise of what really, because people, really, I'm going to give you another bigger hint. This isn't about Mashiach. The what you see with Mashiach isn't for the sake of Mashiach. See, Mashiach is nobody. It's for all of you, but all of you, quote unquote, also will be represented by a first from among the all of you that takes the lead example of, hey, I too can be and come up as and recover from the twistedness into but it's a little more complicated, because I have to reveal other details, and then it's not going to be a pretty story. But basically, and then that's how God saves. He does it with one. There's the Mashiach, and then there's the beside the Mashiach with an offshoot, so to speak, and then the domino pluralizes onto the world. That's as deep as we'll get into it for now. So we're waiting for these things to happen now. It's interesting to watch prophecy unfold in reality. It's unbelievable. But we'll be a little patient, and we'll see where these things go. We continue. But ultimately, we're going to be saving the future world, so let's get on that. Save the world. Be with God. Wow, the biggest reward of all God reality. Amen. Who would deny that? No one in their right minds. We continue. I don't want to go into too much, then it's going to be too much of a deviation. Continuing, in every generation, when Mashiach ben Yosef from below does appear, he is, nevertheless, despite the appearances, a righteous person and a foundation of the world, who because of his deeds, and because of the root of his soul, merits acting for the salvation of Israel, carrying out helpful deeds just naturally by what he does, and it will always make that access energetically blow open, because that's how God set that one, designed him, and programmed that one to naturally function, even regardless of the explicit awareness of that one for a time. It doesn't matter. That is God's agent, basically, carrying out the will of God. Do not interfere with God's programming vessel brought down by God, where God wants that one to carry out God's will. You can't be that smart. Continuing. Come on now. Carrying out helpful deeds and glorifying the Torah through his dedication. That's right. We will glorify the teaching through that dedication and clarify everything that has come before with the added dimension of insight to crystallize it at the level we need it, for it to suffice to work with our nature such that our natures become that which they ought to be. And what does that deal with? Check out my other videos on that side thing and the matter of, well, I won't spoil it here. We continue. It goes on to state, thus he reaches to the high level of Mashiach ben Yosef, which is 999 in the Sephira Yesod. Mashiach ben Yosef, who is present in every house of Israel in general, according to what is revealed by the words remnant of Yosef, which was said about all of Israel in general and regarding every man of Israel in particular. Mashiach ben Yosef resides within the 999 sparks of many a soul in Israel, and those who merit carrying out deeds that promote the ingathering of exiles, or the end of the energetic regime of exile, etc., whoever merits on the basis of his deeds as well as the merits of his forefathers, carrying out deeds that are characteristic of Mashiach ben Yosef, is considered a spark from the root of the soul of Mashiach ben Yosef, each according to the level of his deeds. Yosef is still alive. All three Hebrew words are from the Sephira Yesod. The first word, Od, is the Sephira of Hod on the left side line. Yosef is from the Sephira Yesod of the middle line. Chai is from Netzach of Yesod on the right side line. Yosef is still alive. The light of Mashiach ben Yosef has three levels. Mashiach ben Yosef from the land, in line with Yosef, son of Rachel, from the aspect of recipient. Mashiach ben Yosef from heaven, in line with Yosef, son of Yaakov, son of Jacob, from the aspect of one, that is, son of Israel, from the aspect of one who gives and influences. And as it's known, Yosef was the favorite son of Israel. See, Mashiach ben Yosef from both heaven and earth, revealed in the words, even all in the heavens and earth, is in the Sephira Yesod. In Gematria, as it goes on to state, all in the heavens and earth equals Mashiach ben Ephraim. Likewise, the value of horn of salvation is 741 in Gematria, according to the Gaon. This refers to Mashiach ben Ephraim. Every act of ransom and every act of saving by Mashiach ben Yosef is aided by Mashiach ben David energetically and spiritually, in line with the incident in which Judah saved Yosef. Big time. That's why the world has to be exactly what it is, and the way it's come along is exactly the way it needed to come along. So everything must be fulfilled exactly like this. According to what is written, what profit is it if we sell our brother and cover up his blood? What is the profit? You are fooled. Pass the test. Wake up. By saving Yosef, Judah merited being the one from whom the kingdom of David descended. Yosef is still alive. As it goes on to state, our forefathers and many of the prophets of God, kings of Israel, and many of the Tanaim and Amoraim, many of the great men of Israel, and the men of deeds in every generation were in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef. The first one was our forefather Abraham, as revealed in the words, whereby will I know that I will inherit it? As known, wherever the term inheritance is used in connection with Eretz Israel, it is in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef. That's why The land of Israel, what happens there corresponds to what is happening at the substantive energetic level with Mashiach ben Yosef regarding the transactionary plane of, oh, I don't want to reveal the word yet, but it has to do with everything. Morality is a word that comes close. There's other words that come closer still. This is hinted at in the word I will inherit, which is gematria equals, in which the gematria equals Mashiach ben Yosef. Continuing, our forefather Abraham started the beginning of the first redemption, that is the redemption of the holiness from below, which is the land of Eretz of Israel, that is Eretz Israel. Our forefather Yitzhak was in the line of the Mashiach ben Yosef as well from the time he was bound as a sacrifice. His name even hints at end of life. Our forefather Yaakov was in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef from the time he fought the angel of Esav. After which it says, oh, Esav, Esav, the real Esav. After which it says, Yaakov came to Shalem, Shalem to Sukkot. Judah was in the same line from the time he saved Yosef. Yosef from the time of his first dream, Moshe Rabbeinu, from the time he took along the bones of Yosef. Joshua, son of Nun, was the first who fought in the battle of the Lord against Amalek. Both Saul and David fought in the war of the Lord as well. That is the war of the Lord, to fight against the energetic programming consistent with Amalekiteness. What is it? What words do we have for that today? What are we looking at? How do we identify it? How do you fight it and win? As a side note, importantly, no real true energetics are aligned to really fight and destroy that energetic essence today. Continuing, and it is known that every war of the Lord is considered to be in line of Mashiach ben Yosef, etc., etc. For that is the alignment, always consistent with the highest, noblest, most right fighting, most right war. Know what to oppose in this life. The biggest error in this life is following your own feelings and instincts to go and oppose the wrong things because you didn't use your internal sense of just measures and weights properly, and you're exerting yourself in opposition the wrong things. Don't believe yourselves. God hates that. During recent generations, the Holy Ari and his special student, the holy and pure Rabbi Chaim Vital, and the holy rabbi, author of Or Chaim, were also in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef, as is known. These are all energetic predecessors. And in the last generation, it was the Gaon, our Rabbi Eliyahu, light of Mashiach ben Yosef, whose light goes before us, and whose light increases until the day will be established. A few of his students who fulfilled the commandment regarding the vision of Tion to accept and be inspired with his spirit and his great light are also in the line of Mashiach ben Yosef. Yosef is still alive. A righteous person lives by his faith. Together with all our activities connected with the mission of Mashiach ben Yosef, we are commanded, and it is incumbent upon us to pray a great deal for the life and success of Mashiach ben Yosef. Our entire existence is revealed by the words, remnant of Yosef, through whom the ingathering of exiles and the end of exile will be accomplished. Get it? Get it? It's time to move and work soon. Let's do, it goes on to state, this refers to the Mashiach ben Yosef from below, who is present in every generation. We must pray that he not be killed by the wicked Armilus, that he should not die before he carries out completely his holy mission, and that he should be able to stand up against Armilus, who seeks to cause him to fall in all of his ways, that he should maintain his faith in his great and holy mission until his last day. This is what is meant by a righteous person lives by his faith, referring to Mashiach ben Yosef from above, that his light should not go out. So always keep your lights on, people. The light that connects the middle column of the Shekhinah with our Father in heaven, which is the center bolt that connects Yisod and Malchus as well as Yisod to Tiferes in the middle line, the line of compassion. Compassion and loving kindness. If it had only been that easy from the beginning to hold on to that lifeline. Proceeding onwards, Goes on to state, King David of blessed memory prayed many prayers on behalf of Mashiach ben Yosef that he should not die, but Israel's poverty should help annul the decree against Mashiach ben Yosef, as revealed by the words, I was brought low and he saved me, which is one of the prayers that King David of blessed memory prayed on behalf of Mashiach ben Yosef, as explained by the Gaon. We are specially obligated to pray as follows. The English translation follows the Hebrew paragraph. The prayer, Yosef is still alive, as it goes on then to state, which begins, have mercy, our Father in heaven, on the remnant of Yosef, etc. The prayer of the Amidah on the throne of David, your servant, in the blessing, build Yerushalayim. The prayer, the descendant of David, we hoped for your help all day, who causes the horn of help to sprout.
By the way, you pray for the Mashiach ben Yosef 3 times a day. I don't know if you know that. You know that? It says, Es Samach David, and the offspring of David, right? Who is that? Is that David HaMelech? No, it's Mashiach ben Yosef. Yahweh says that.
He's not Semach David.
Who?
He's not Semach David. He's Semach
Yosef. No, Semach David. He's the beginning of David.
It's not David, it's Tzemach David.
Tzemach
ben Yosef.
Yes, exactly.
Tzemach.
Yeah, I said that. That was on Hanukkah. I said that, remember that? But whatever it is, all of a sudden you begin to see a guy, and the next day, hey, there's something strange about you. You see? And the next day, what's happening here? He's a guy that walks in, he will be emitting a force, a ruchnis that is so powerful, everybody will be drawn to him. That's how he does his job. You see, and that's how it's like the whole human race begins to feel this guy.
People go through all kinds of trials and tribulations where they are forced in many ways, and I'll say the word, to sin. Right. That all of a sudden, Mashiach ben Yosef is not only blocked with his capacity to be a tremendous goyin in learning and so on, because that's what he's supposed to do for the Jewish people, but he's blocked in his ability to be an incredible, not only tzaddik, but kodosh, holy person, which means dvekus, to be close to God. They said, Tzadka, she's right. God said, I took away your free will. You had no choice. There was no way you could fight the Malach, right? Obviously, the Malach turned up his hormones, and that was the end of it, and finished. You see, wait a minute. Somebody in the Parsha of Mashiach can be forced to sin, even though it looks like a sin, but he can actually be forced to sin where he has no free will, yet maybe he thinks that he did have free will, immorality and so on. But he doesn't know that God took it away, the free will. Could you imagine the suffering that he would have with this person who has this type of neshama? That there's a second dimension to the suffering of Mashiach ben Yosef. And he's not the only one. Dusha is mamish akin to an unbelievable tzaddik, the dvekus, the drive to be a tzaddik, and then the drive to commit sins. And he's got to go through this. Right. That's the Yisurin of the Mashiach ben Yosef. And now you understand what it means.
This is the job of Mashiach ben Yosef, to go to the other side, sort of like an undercover cop trying to take down the cartel, do it all by himself. He has to be in the inside. He has to look like a Nachash. He has to look like the bad guy in order to bring victory, to bring down wickedness.
Everyone will be under his dominion, including wicked men.
Goes on to state here, a prayer of the afflicted when he faints, and there also have mercy on Zion, for it is the time to favor her, etc. For your servants have cherished her stones, etc. So nations will fear the name of the Lord, etc. Goes on to state, I love him, for the Lord hears. There too I was brought low, and he saved me from the straits, and also there I will not die, for I will live, etc. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof is also the Lord's, and also there who will ascend the mountain of the Lord, etc. Wait at my right hand. The Lord will answer you in the day of trouble, for the waters have penetrated unto the soul. And also there, save me, O God, for the waters have penetrated unto the soul. Also there, as it goes on to state here, for God will give salvation to Zion and build the cities of Judah. They shall dwell there, and shall take possession of it once more. The wilderness and the parched land shall be glad, etc. Also there, then the ransomed of the Lord will return, and will come to Zion with glad song, etc. I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and also therefore as the seed of peace, etc. Even Mount Zion, the uttermost parts of the north, Lord, in thy strength. And also there he asked life of you. You gave it to him. You gave him length of days. Also according to the Holy Ari regarding the Mashiach ben Yosef in the prayer, the throne of David, and according to the Gaon in Tikkunei Zohar Chadash, when God returns, etc., we will be like dreamers. O Lord, as it goes on to state, do not rebuke me in your anger. Stir up jubilation to God of our strength. He placed it as testimony in Yosef. In distress you called out, and I rescued you. His tabernacle in Shalem. Also there he broke the flames of the bow, etc. In you, O Lord, have I put my trust. Because of all my oppressors, I have become a disgrace. I will exalt you, O Lord, for you are the one who has drawn me up from the depths. Those redeemed by the Lord will say it, that he might send them his word and heal them. Goes on to state here, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Though a camp should encamp round about me, etc., to look upon the goodness of the Lord. In our deeds and with our prayers we help Mashiach ben Yosef, and by acting with all our strength when the awakening comes from below, we will achieve the unity of Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David, who are the tree of Yosef and the tree of Judah, intertwined in one as one stick, to be held in the hand of Ephraim, in the hand of Yosef, Mashiach ben Yosef. At first they will be in your hands individually, and afterwards they will be united in my hand. The unity of both are the foundation for the unity of the Holy One, blessed be He, and the Shekhinah, and thus the completion of the redemption. We must learn and understand all the aspects, qualities, and various attributes of Mashiach ben Yosef according to the approach of the Gaon of blessed memory, who discusses this a great deal in his holy writings about what is revealed and what concealed, so that we should know the entire road we must travel and all the ways of the deeds that are before us. Thank you, because his light and spirit go before us and with us with the help of God. All the deeds, as it goes on to state here, with in gathering exiles in the land of Israel in general, and in Yerushalayim in particular, every general and private act, everywhere, of everyone together or separately, everything. All these depend on the existence and on the success of Mashiach ben Yosef. The world around us, everything that's going to happen has to happen and must happen and depends on the success of Mashiach ben Yosef. Everything turns on him. The existence and success of Mashiach ben Yosef depend on that awakening which comes from below, on the fulfillment of things and acts that are given and concealed in the 156 qualities, appellations, and aspects of Mashiach ben Yosef, as explained above and also below, so that we participate with all our might in the suffering and in the special attributes until the highest level of 999 in the Sephir Yesod, which means the 999 steps of the awakening from below. It says about that, the smallest will come 1,000, the smallest will become 1,000. That means until the level of 1,000, and the youngest will become a mighty nation. The smallest and youngest refer to Ephraim, who is Mashiach ben Yosef. Then I am the Lord, even in its time I will hasten it. All in all, there is a great obligation to pray devoutly for the life and success of Mashiach ben Yosef. Ephraim is my firstborn. Mount Ephraim. Ephraim wanders, as is according to his soul programming. Ephraim is my favorite son. That is essentially Ephraim and Yosef, that line, as one and the same essentially. All these are basic aspects, as it goes on to state, of Mashiach ben Yosef, that he wanders, that he is the firstborn, that he is as the mount and the favorite son. All these, the basic aspects of Mashiach ben Yosef that appear in the same chapter. Ephraim is called God's firstborn because he's the first Mashiach through whom the ingathering of the exiles will occur, which means the exodus from the exodus, basically, from the exile, from this energetic regime. Mount Ephraim is so called because it leads Israel up to Zion, as we learn from the verse, call out from Mount Ephraim, rise and let us ascend to Zion. The aspect Ephraim wanders signifies that Mashiach ben Yosef has no rest, and he does wander everywhere, outright from north to south and from south to north, as is written, wake up north and come to the south. The initial letters of the 4 Hebrew words are equal to, in Gematria, to the value of Mashiach ben Yosef. It doesn't display the Hebrew words here. We proceed. Ephraim is my favorite son. Is the aspect loving kindness. Because Ephraim himself is from the left side, that means from the side of Din, and always accepts, nevertheless, despite this, influence from the right side, that is, from the quality of loving kindness. And there you have it. This is the import of, and he placed his right hand on the head of Ephraim. We are commanded to speak of him constantly, for whenever I speak of him, I remember him better. Everything that is brought energetically through everyone's consciousness and essence is designed for the purpose that he is always forced to be on your minds, no matter what, so that you fulfill the will of God, that you always will remember him and keep him in mind even better and even better, regardless of the nature. Ephraim is the one who wages war against Armilus. In Gematria, these are equal terms, 331. All the above mentioned aspects are in the line of Yosef ben Rachel from the land. Thus, this chapter speaks about Rachel who weeps for her children. Refrain your voice from weeping. They will return from the land of the enemy. Refers to the exodus from exile. Your children will return to their border. Refers to the immigration or the ascent to Zion.